So have you ever wondered why vehicles cost on average of $50,000 anymore? And, well, why do I need to pay $50,000 for a vehicle anymore? I see a lot of videos on that nowadays, and they're all pretty much the same thing, saying manufacturers have either lost it, or maybe our government's telling them that you need to do this. But, you know, why do I have to spend 50 grand to get a car that just goes point A to point B and maybe just run around town? Maybe I don't need to jump in it, and maybe I'm not going across the country in it. Because I think those two are uniquely different sets of criteria. It seems like anymore to try to get a vehicle is just, well, insane. So let me show you what I'm doing here, and let's compare what it would cost. So we're replacing a fuel pump. Fuel pump went out, and well, it's easy to diagnose. I know there's fuel in the car, and there's no fuel coming out of the pump. Now you could say, well, maybe you're just vapor locked or whatever, and you're right. Diagnosing these are a lot different, right? So I can run down to the auto parts store and I can get a $35 pump. I can put it in, and at the end of the day, worst case, I got a brand new fuel pump. So there's pros and cons with all these old vehicles. 64 Comet, for the most part, it doesn't take much to keep her running. If you can keep the fluids contained, you're golden. The old 70 Dodge, same thing. As long as you have a couple modules in these older vehicles that can go out, but for the most part, you got spark, you got fuel, and you got air. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that you got to get in them, you got to let them warm up, and well, for the most part, they're not as comfortable as, let's say, my Wrangler. My Wrangler, when it's unlocked, which something that the other cars don't have, there are no key fobs, right? But it's a much more comfortable ride with the air and the U-Connect. Now it is a manual because I don't want to have to deal with the automatic transmission going out later, because they always do. But on this, if I have to replace the fuel pump, I have to drop the fuel tank. On this fuel tank, well, it's part of the trunk, and that's a whole separate issue. I do, although, have to every now and then, and now this is a vented cap, right? I have to make sure that she's not building up pressure, because on this, your trunk, let me open it up and show you. I don't want to sidebar this too much, but these older vehicles were a lot simpler. There's your gas tank right there. It would come out right through the trunk. And yes, we keep parts. Oh, butterfly. Keep some pieces. So you say, well, why don't I just get an older vehicle instead of spending, the Jeep thing is kind of a freak, right? 35 to 40 grand for a Jeep. And then let's face it, that 35 to 40 grand is just the price of admission on a Jeep. But then you put tires and lockers and wheels and yada, 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 you name it, it all goes in there. But for a normal vehicle to start average 50, I've seen some stuff around 25. For a normal vehicle to be around 50, and I've seen some trying to get like slate electric vehicle, if you like them, you like them, don't you don't, to get them around 25. But we all know the cost of repair is going to be outrageous. Now on this, we're still running a generator, right? A coil, ignition. There are no spark boxes in this. The most tech inside of this is, well, your cell phone. That's all your tech. So let's talk about what it would take if you were to find an old vehicle like this, find one in decent shape, and get it roadworthy. So this one came out of Utah. Now, if you're looking for an older vehicle, pretty much anything east of Denver, just forget about it unless it's a freak. This old dude, while it looks like it's rusty, the paint's burnt off because it spent all this time outside in Utah. Now, the quarter panel was caved in. We dilated it out to this point. Inside the trunk on the vertical, there's a little rust on both sides. Other than that, that's the only rust on this old dude. This one came out of Colorado. Quarter panels are gone, and I had to go through it. Floors were gone. Floors on this one is just fine. So you say, if I want to buy an old vehicle like this, what does it cost? Because we have a habit of doing this, so kind of run it down for you. If you buy an older vehicle, you can expect that you're going to have to go through the engine. You're going to have to stick a couple $1,000s in an engine, right? I buy manuals. That way I don't have to worry about the automatic transmissions. But you're going to put a couple $1,000s in a drivetrain. You're going to put time and change, water pumps, possibly a new radiator, probably new charging, so you're going to have a couple $1,000s in the engine. Very simple work. And you say, well, simple for you because you know how to do it. But here's the thing, even if you got to take it to the shop, once you find a shop that can work on older vehicles, you're going to spend a couple $1,000s to have that stuff put on, and then you're done. That old Wrangler, that one, in 18, valve covers are leaking middle of winter. I couldn't get it in the garage. It was $2,000 for a valve cover leak. Yes, valve cover leaks. And here, there's valve covers. On a Wrangler, they're buried. So you're going to spend a couple $1,000s no matter what. Now, an old vehicle like this, you're going to spend, I'm going to say maybe $3,000 to $5,000 to buy one. You're going to put a couple $1,000s in. So to get it to where you want, if you're not doing the work, you might be 10 all in. If you're doing the work, maybe 5 or 6, if you can get it home and do the work to it. But for the most part, a lot of these old dudes, if they're running, they'll run forever. Now let's just do some comparisons. I can go buy a brand new long block for this. I looked it up on Blueprint. I think it's around $3,800. Now, the long block for that old Wrangler was about the same cost. But here's the difference. It's $3,800 for the engine. I'll put my carburetor and on the Wrangler, I'll put a lot of stuff on it. But then you got the sensors and you got all of that that's going to make that price crawl up dramatically. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I am not going to get in this and drive this to, you know, California or wherever. The old Wrangler, I keep calling it old. The Wrangler, will I? Yes, I will. So it just depends what you're doing with these older vehicles. Driving them around town, maybe the next state over, that's fine. Now some of them wasn't built for that. So unless you put an overdrive in it, like this old Willys that I've been through, it runs great. The old flathead's still in it. It's a bone stock vehicle. It'll do 40, 45 miles an hour. And as long as you can get there at 40, 45 mile an hour, it'll get you there. So driving around town, it's great. Now there's not a lot of comfort in this. Right? There is no, well, here's your air, except for there's your, you know, your forced air right there. Now it does have a heater in it, and none of these vehicles have air conditioning. And you say, well, I gotta have air. Well, you can put air in most of these older vehicles, like vintage air or something. But it gets back to why do vehicles cost so much? Because of all the stuff that's in them. My wife's Mazda 5, right now it's got some modules in it that I have to work on. I gotta look it up and see what the modules are for, dig into it, and see what's going on there. I'll guarantee you these modules, well, wait a minute, there are none. They go out, I don't have to worry about it. Fuel pump is my biggest thing I got to worry about on this. Worst case, I'd have to put a clutch in it. So, especially if you're looking at work on a vehicle, these old cars, they're easy to learn on. If you want to try to start working on cars with no background, that Wrangler is a freaking nightmare. There's so many wires and stuff. You better start breaking out the scan tools, because you're going to need them. Without them, forget it. There are no scan tools in this old Comet, in that old truck, or that Willys. There is no plugging into. So in long short of it, when I see all this stuff, everybody talk about how vehicles, how they've lost touch and how people can't afford them. Well, I don't know if it's because of government mandates or what it is, because planned obsolescence, I don't think for a second that Wrangler will last as long as any of these other vehicles will, without stuff going wrong. And then will I be able to get parts for those, for that Wrangler? These I can buy parts for. Ironically enough, the older it is, sometimes the more specialized it is. That old Willys, I can buy just about every part for it. This old Ford, I can buy all the parts for it. The Dodge is a little unique because there's a lot of customizing on it, but I can still buy parts for that. The 06 Mazda, I struggle finding parts for that. So part obsolescence, and well, people just don't want to carry them. So there is years in there to where you go from plentiful parts to no parts back to plentiful parts again. And quite frankly, if you want to drive an old vehicle, they're easy to work on. I'll say they're fairly inexpensive once you get them to where they'll be consistent, you know, where you can trust them again. But it isn't much. Quite frankly, if this goes out, I can fix this fairly easy. If that goes out, more likely that's going on the back of a truck. Just difference of parts. So with that, I hear all this stuff about why do vehicles cost so much, and people are starting to go back to the older vehicles. Older vehicles are great. Find one, get it running. Nothing else you're going to learn something about that will help you with the newer vehicles. It's the same stuff. Well, it's the same base with 10 million sensors and wires loaded up on top of it. But you can go out, get an older vehicle, run around town, not a problem. So a little vent, a little rant, and I hear this all the time anymore about older vehicles people wanting them, but not knowing where to get them. So maybe we will do a little of that. How do you find these old vehicles? I've done a video on transporting older vehicles, get them to a running state. This old Willis came from Spokane. So in a day and age when everything costs so much to repair, I turned the camera off while I was putting it on, but 5 or 10 minutes. I hear everybody talk about average car loans now are 7 years. Well, back when the vehicle was $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, you know, a 4-year note, okay. But now when they're $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, absolutely. Nobody bought their house on a 6-year note, a 7-year note, or a 4-year note. It's a 30-year note. Now our first house, this is going to date me, was $40,000. It almost cost as much for that Jeep as I did for the house. The house had a 30-year note on it. So maybe you're saying that maybe you can't afford that vehicle if you're having to take that note on. Well, that's probably the case. But the other part is $100,000 spread out over 4 years. That's a sizable note, not to mention taxes. So that's why I bring up working on your old vehicles. So if you can work on your older vehicles, this thing will make a great little run-around town car. I mean, okay, I need to get a new lid for the squirter bottle because the corks wore out. But it doesn't take much. So if you want an old vehicle, they're plentiful out there. Go look west. Unless they're in a garage hidden somewhere, cars out in the east or junk. Check those out. I've got some videos out there on transporting. If you got to transport them to get them running. If you're going to bring them from way out there, that's what I would suggest. A couple $1,000 before you go in debt for $60,000, $70,000. So go check those out. And if you like the video, give me a like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you here in the next video. Get out and work on your old cars.